I'm Riley.
Hey, and I'm Todd, and welcome to Barber Cuts. This week we are talking about Arcade Fire and their album Funeral from 2004. So, which way are we starting this week? Do we want to keep going with our least favorites first to get the bad news out of the way?
At least for this one, I want to.
Okay.
Because very, a spoiler, very few bad things on this album for me. Which,
I,
the more
I
you know me, the more this does not surprise you.
no.
This is my music taste,
I
almost to a
told,
T.
yeah, I told mommy, I was like, I can't wait to talk to Riley about this album. Um, so, so I'll kick off the least favorite. So this was difficult, and so like my least favorite two, one was Haiti,
Okay.
um, and then I'm like, I even wrote down, I get it. I know it's a song about her parents fleeing Haiti and escaping a ruthless dictator, but I didn't realize that until after it. But as I listened, it's just one that always just kind of melted away for me. And if you've listened to the album, I think that makes sense because there were, and you and I talk about, there were no surprises in this song. It started, it sung, it's a beautiful song. I mean, I like the song, um, but it just kind of melted away. And the second one for me, Neighborhood Number Four, it's pretty much the same way. It's like I liked it, but again, it just kind of melted away for me. So, what about you?
Um, so my least favorites, which were also difficult, because I wouldn't say they were even ones that I dislike. I still enjoyed them listening through them.
Same.
We're probably Un Ani Sans Lumiere, the French one.
See,
Um, can't pronounce it.
even though that's
Um,
Spanish,
that's really embarrassing. That we also have those two random listeners from Argentina and
and Guatemala, but you
and
didn't even pick
Guatemala.
up on it.
Nope.
It's
Anyway,
we.
anyway, um, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it that much. Same with In the Back Seat. Both of those just kind of fell away for me, kind of like you were talking about. I'm also probably unfairly going to be partial towards male singers when there's a band that has male and female singers. And those were two songs that kind of highlighted the female singer. I know Haiti does too a little bit, but Um, these two were some that like it went back and forth between male and female, and that just didn't work so well for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll say
but they were
this in
still
the
beautiful.
Un Ensemble Lumiere, which means a year without lights. Um, at you know at 2 minutes and 45 seconds when the guitar kicks in, and the tempo picks up all the way to the end. I was like, oh, okay, that's a nice touch musically, but otherwise, I'm like you. It was very peaceful and melodic,
Hmm.
but other than that last ending part, and truth be told, that ending surprise of when that tempo change is probably why it didn't. Is why I always like, ooh, I like that part, and so
Yeah,
why it didn't end up as a least favorite for me.
which makes sense. Yeah. So
Now the in the back seat though, like I it did have quite a few changes. And do you know what that song's about? Did you see that in your research?
I I read like the main themes that a lot of their songs fall on, and I can't remember if
Yeah.
that one I have.
So that one that's about her losing her mom at an early age and then how she's never had to be in control. So she's always been in the back seat, but now she's got to do a lot of these things.
Mm.
It was, you know, it had some things that I liked, with guitar, goes away and being replaced by some strings, and then in the middle of the song, like it gets real heavy for like 10 seconds and then goes away and then it comes back. So it had some nice surprises musically in it, which just again kept it out of my least favorites. I mean, it's quite the roller coaster of music,
Which makes
as it
sense.
as it
Grief
were.
is a
Yeah,
roller coaster.
true,
So,
true. So
but that's all pretty much the negative comments you'll hear from me
yeah,
about this album.
yeah, and
So,
just so we know, like best I can tell, overall, I don't know if it's why it's called Funeral. Man, it'd be happenstance if it wasn't. But there were like three or four deaths as they were
yeah.
recording this, like close deaths of people in their family,
Yeah. And
and so you
a
can
lot of the
definitely tell that come
songs,
through in these songs.
yeah, a lot of the songs are about either death or time and childhood and growing up. Like most of the songs have those themes in them,
Yeah,
which is a pretty recurring theme across the band. Those tend to be pretty heavy themes, but especially in this album. But moving on to favorites, unless you have
favorites.
anything else to add.
I do not hit it with the favorites.
Um, so my second favorite was Neighborhood number one, Tunnels. First
Okay.
song. I knew it was gonna be a banger when this song came on. Are you kidding? I don't know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. I think this one is pretty heavy, about growing up. Um, and like, I don't know, a lot of their songs are very reminiscent almost. Like, very few of their songs seem to be exploring emotions that they're currently feeling, and a lot of them are like more exploring, like it's talking about leaving their bedrooms from their parents' bedrooms to like tunnel their way to their friends and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's like almost very reminiscent young mindset. Um, and just like it's just a beautiful song. I I don't know if it's, sorry, I'm trying to cover my thoughts. I don't know if it's about like growing up or like that loss of innocence because it doesn't really seem like that either. Um, but I liked the lyrics where it was we let our hair grow long and forget all we used to know. Then our skin gets thicker from living out in the snow. Um, I just thought that was a really beautiful way to word growing up
Yeah.
because that's
And
what they're talking about.
supposedly it's like all these neighborhood songs are from a time when they were in, I guess, Canada, and like the neighborhood was legit snowed under.
Yeah.
So you can
So
you can see that in some of these angst of like, no matter what, I'm going to build a tunnel and get out and see.
yeah, but
And it
it's
starts like the opening line, and if the snow buries my neighborhood,
yeah.
like, yeah, that doesn't sound very good.
But I don't know. It was such this beautiful song about reminiscing because it's talking about like we tried to name our babies, but we forgot all of those names, but we still remember our bedrooms and our parents' bedrooms. And like as a college student who doesn't live at home, like that breaks me a little bit, you know? Because it's like I've tried to explain this feeling, and poor Mama Barber is gonna cry listening to this episode now. But it's like this fear that no matter where I go or how long I live there, it won't be my home and it won't be my bedroom because like that's my home, that's my bedroom, that's what I remember. I'll always remember y'all's bedroom and my bedroom and Wesley's and like my brother and all of that. So it's like this beautiful reminiscing that you can't help but reminisce on whenever
Yeah.
you're listening to it.
Yeah. And this is one that, I'm sure we've had some, but I, this was one that I remember making note of it because it must not have happened too terribly much. where the music is light, airy, mysterious, but still a happy beat, but yet the lyrics are not happy.
No,
And so there's a
they
juxtaposition of those, we talked about this with moving on up in Primal Scream, lyrics and beat, music, it all matched. It's happy. This one, you may feel happy, but those lyrics are not happy underneath.
no,
So
and
it's a
it
nice juxtaposition sometimes in music and songs that you get. And it can go
yes,
reverse as well. So,
it's one that um oh gosh, so it's one that you can listen to without feeling super heavy,
mhm.
unless you listen to it closely. Because there are a few songs, and the first one that's coming to mind is Kendrick Lamar, the Dear Abed, or like the one where he wrote it to Drake's son. And people that are like fan of Kendrick's, like that song is considered one of the best songs, or rap songs, like ever. And everyone that listens to it will say, like, I never want to listen to that song again because of like exactly it's meant to make you feel like
Yeah,
chills and like,
yeah,
oh no. This was one where I can listen to it again, but if I listen to lyrics, I'll get emotional
yeah,
more so than I will feel happy. And that wasn't even my favorite song. Favorite
yeah.
song was Crown of Love. Um, nothing, I have no notes for a song. Genuinely, like it was one of my favorite songs. I listened to it the most, like that I've listened to any song off of any of these lists. Um, I there's something about it that was so familiar. I felt like I had heard this song before. I know I probably haven't, but it was like a very familiar beat without sounding repetitive. The part where it's like da, 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 that part is so familiar to me. I don't know why. And the way like he worded things in the song is just still beautiful. Like, for you, my love keeps on growing, still the same, just like cancer, and yet you won't give me a straight answer. Like and if you still want me, please forgive me. The crown of love has fallen for me. It's like this beautiful song of like, I messed something up and I need to repair it and I just need more love and I can't and I'm losing it. And it's just like he articulates it all so well. And also, the I carved your name across my eyelids. You pray for rain, I pray for blindness. Like these vivid imagery, or this vivid imagery that he provides that's like almost like, oh, that doesn't sound like that sounds awful. Like it causes a reaction to hear like carving something on your eyelids. Like that's a visceral reaction that you don't hear often when you think about love or breakups or like this affection. And I love it when people do talk about love in kind of like a weird, funky way. Um, and I loved it. I also, because this is just what we are now, it's like some of it feels very religious, specifically to me in this song. Um, because we talk about that a lot. Um, it feels, I don't know, like, the crown of love always makes me think of the crown of thorns because that's what I hear of the crown of. And it's almost this it feels like the song of like whenever Jesus cries out like you forsake me. Like it's almost this moment of
Mm.
like if you want me, please take me back. Like I'm so obsessed and continuously obsessed with you and you're not taking me back. And like that moment of desperation of being separated and having no way back. Like obviously we know that's not where it ended, but and not getting this straight. And like it's just that's always what I felt during it was like this desperation to return, which is exactly what I feel the
Yeah,
song was trying to do. And it was just a beautiful message and beautiful song. It sounded pleasing too, so I can't complain.
yeah. So My second favorite, and I've really got 2A and 2B, but I went with Wake Up. I really
Uh,
like Rebellion. Um, Wake Up, just the opening guitar riff is like, okay, that part draws me in. And of course, just knowing um my like in grunge, that is a very distorted,
yeah.
for lack of a better word, dirty way to start the song instead of cleanliness, like most of their airy, like most of their other songs. Um, and then, it's at 2:40, but he sings that line, just a million little gods causing rainstorms. Like, such a great lyric, but then you also, that raspy hint of imperfection is also there that I really like as well. Um, and then toward the end of the song, like, it's just like a brand new song.
Mm-hmm.
And the beat changes, the tempo changes, and every time I was listening to it, like it just catches me off guard. It's like, oh, we went to another song, and then once I figured out that Haiti came after that, I was like, oh no, like this is still the same song. So I really like that one. And
That
so I didn't want to, yeah, go ahead.
that one is one that I read was about like saying like get get your act in gear. You have to get up. You have to wake up. You
Yeah,
have to
wake up.
start
Yeah,
acting. And
yeah,
I think it's really neat that they started it slower and then like changed it to a whole different song and like did all
yeah,
of that because it really feels like you're waking up and you're like, okay, I have to change. I have to be this now. And
yeah.
it's, I think it's cool.
And so my favorite, would you be able to guess my favorite?
It wasn't rebellion.
Nope. I would say you're not going to guess it, and we're not going to let the pause go too long because, you know,
Then you have to edit it out.
it is audio here after all.
Yeah.
Crown of Love. So we agree.
Hey!
And
Yes.
the reason I was excited for this one was because I'm like, if she doesn't pick Crown of Love as her favorite song, she is a lyric lover faker. Like that,
I
I
just
just knew it. But this is one of those ones. And so from me, coming from the musicality side of it, there is no music when it first starts. And so like that's a brave and bold thing to do. And it just forces you to hear the lyrics and listen to it because they're so clear. And then like, oh my word,
Mhm.
like no, I don't normally listen to lyrics, granted, but it's not like I can't look at them and see them and do all that. But it's just the piano that starts and vocals, so it's hard not to hear the lyrics. His voice is pretty clear, you know, and you know the song. I guess going into it, I did at least was "Crown of Love," and the first line is they say it fades if you let it. I was like, uh-oh, like you instantly know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And you can, even in that first line, like you can hear the sadness and heartbreak in his voice. And so for me, a lot of times, like the vocals become an instrument.
Mm.
And just like with a guitar, you can have a clean voice, you can have a raspy, distorted voice, but yet you can also have a sad voice and or happy voice. But to to be able to portray those emotions through it was just incredible. Like it's at 2:27, the line "The pains of love they keep blowing," the way that he wails on that and just goes higher is again just so heartbreaking. Um, but it's funny because I took a different take on the lyrics.
Mm.
And so for me, the um it was him losing a love, and so lots of people can relate to that. Um, but people are, they say it fades if you let it. Love was made to forget it. Those first two lines to me are people telling him, move on.
Mhm.
And not anybody, but his mom, because it later talks about, like, I snuffed it out before my mom walked in the bedroom. It's like the song pieces together, and it's him begging for somebody to um, come back to him, and that she's not necessarily giving him a clear answer, but I take the chorus as the clear answer. And so the chorus is, if you still want me, please forgive me. So this would be his love lost saying this to him. If you still want me, please forgive me because the spark is, or sorry, yeah, if you still want me, please forgive me. The crown of love has fallen from me. If you still want me, please forgive me because the spark is not within me. He's getting his clear answer. He just doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And the sadness, you can hear that in his voice as it comes through, and then at the end he's saying, there's you're the only one, the only word that I can say. Just the the pain of the song of having a love lost, and again, got no idea if his wife is the drummer, um, so got no idea if this was about somebody else. You would think that it would be previous, but I absolutely love this song. It's beautifully done musically, beautifully done lyrically, and vocally, just the way it sounds. And for me, this song and this album is the reason that I love doing this, because I never would have heard this song if we weren't doing this, and
Yeah.
I would have missed out on this. And this is a great song.
Yeah. I was gonna say this album w has probably been my favorite that we've listened to so far, and I would not have stumbled on it on my own, probably.
Yeah,
I probably a little bit more likely than you, however, because I have bridges in that we'll talk about. But yeah, I would say my one of my favorite parts of the whole album was his ability to put his emotions into his voice.
yeah,
And it's almost like a I think it's called a vibrato where your voice shakes.
yep,
But he does it in such a way that it's like an emotional and it like pulls you in and you can't help but feel like he's a friend crying to you or wailing to you or like opening up to you. And so
yeah,
there's this immediate bond that you make with him. And
yeah,
also, like, I feel like Crown of Love, he talks about it in such a way that's beautiful. And it's why I admire musicians so much. He talks about it so eloquently and beautifully, but it's something most people have experienced.
right,
This, like, someone walking away and you being like, that's the person for me, and I'm losing them.
yeah,
And like there's no actual spark there, but that's just what you know. And so you just want to keep it and keep it and keep it.
yeah.
And like
And
so
it's funny that what he's being told, in that it fades if you let it, like, that's all true.
yeah,
But in the moment of that heartbreak, that's not what you want to hear.
right.
And but yet you can see, of as you've come out on the other side, or as somebody has come out on the other side of that, you're like, yeah, all that's true, but yet I can hear the sadness in that moment of being able to say, okay, yeah, this is a sad moment. So
Yeah.
it's beautifully done, and not one of their more popular songs on the album, um,
Which is
but
insane to me.
it's a great song. I highly recommend. Two thumbs up.
Yeah, it's I think the great superpower of musicians is being able to
Yep.
put to words feelings. As someone who
Yes.
draws, I can put feelings in a painting, but that does
True.
not mean I can put words to that painting.
True. True.
Um, so it's one of the great superpowers. And you,
Yes.
a little dad barber Todd lore, you write poetry. sometimes. Like when you
Long time
are,
ago,
well,
but
when you're
yes,
overwhelmed with emotion, it seems, and you don't know where to put it, you write some too. So,
or listen to angry music.
or listen to angry music.
Yeah,
Well, when I was born, you wrote a poem. You didn't listen to angry music.
true,
So
true,
it's usually when
true.
you're overwhelmed with good emotions, it seems, from the poems that I've read.
Yeah, which
But
ironically enough, I am not a punk fan, but yet love will still do some of their stuff. Rage Against the Machine.
yep,
Not sure how that
it's,
works, but it does.
I think that's like the lore
Hmm.
that you on one of your first dates with Mama Barber, you pulled up to the sorority house blasting Rage Against the Machine, or pulled up to the apartment blasting Rage Against the Machine.
Well, I will neither confirm nor deny. So one of the things that we also like to do is like, okay, why would this album be listed as one of the greatest of all time? Neither one of us had heard of Arcade Fire, and I remember actually Wake Up from radio, but never listened to the rest of the album. And one of the things that, as I looked at it and did research, reminded my, as I read comments, I'm reminded of our debate about Alive by Pearl Jam, in that I'm a big fan of it, and you're like, no, that's not one of their best ones, low on their
which
album.
is which is gonna get
And
me like crucified.
but it's understandable because that's an anthem to people that grew up at when that song was playing.
Yeah.
And so you just had to be there. And many people in comments and stuff about this album were like, that's the same thing, that this was a fairly new sound in 2004 with the soaring sound, the different instruments, the different sounds, male and female, like you said, switching back and forth. Some of the songs, several of the songs had French lyrics in them. It's big and bold in some places, heartbreaking and withdrawn in others, and it's always shifting and moving, so you never know what's going to come next. And so when it doesn't, the song seems normal, which the two that my least favorites, those are just normal songs. But on an album that has got no normal songs, the normality of them stood out. But and I think that's probably why a lot of people said this album stood out, was just that almost stadium anthemic sounding that came out of this album that was not around in 2000s to that point.
Yeah. Um, so I can talk a little bit more on this just because for those obviously who don't know me, this genre is probably one of my favorite genres. So it technically falls under indie rock-ish.
Yeah.
Indie rock, art rock, sometimes it shifts. So like you said, indie rock, Arcade Fire is known for being one of the leads into indie rock, as well as Bright Eyes. So Bright Eyes and Arcade Fire are often mentioned in the same breath, as they were pretty much pioneers of indie rock, which got it brought about in the early 2000s. Bright Eyes released their album, I think, the same year. Um, and Bright Eyes does the same, like, haunting voice, imperfect vocals, this these horrible lyrics, like great lyrics, but horrible like emotionally. Like they're just very emotional lyrics. And they do the same like airy sounds, like some are up, some are down, some are about love, like, and you just never really know. Like they have one of the sweetest songs ever called First Day of My Life, but also one of the most like um depressing
Yeah.
songs.
That's
Uh
funny. You mentioned that. I just went and looked up Bright Eyes and First Day of My Life on Spotify is their most popular one, and
yeah, it's
I have it checked. So I went and checked, and it's something that I've Shazammed. So when I
yeah,
Shazam a song, it automatically
yeah.
goes into a playlist for
First Day
me,
of
and I
My
was like,
Life
huh.
is
So
all
somewhere
like,
along, I've heard it and liked it enough to Shazam it and go, what is
yeah,
that?
it's basically saying that he like one of the lyrics is I never lived until I met you. like this beautiful love song. And then there's
Yeah.
another song that's about losing someone, and I think the main lyric is now I'm a single cell on a serpent's tongue, and a statuesque. Like it's this beautifully worded, like cryptic, but like you can piece it together. It's just beautiful. And they reminded me a lot of Bright Eyes when I first listened to the song. The vibrato that he uses, the
Yeah.
specific type of vibrato, is exactly what Bright Eyes uses a lot, and made me think of it. And then the more I listened to it, the more I was like, I know this sound from somewhere, and I know it well. One of my favorite albums of all time that I've made you listen to, and you did not like it very much, is Neutral Milk Hotel in the Aeroplane Over the Sea.
I liked it.
You, yeah, not as much as I did.
That's
It's
true. That's true.
it's like it's top 10. It didn't quite make top 5, but I think it's probably like 6 out of favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
Neutral Milk Hotel is probably the founder, if not one of the founders of indie rock.
Yeah.
They were one of the first people to do music the way they did, and their lyrics are very similar. And when I was talking about like the carving in the eyelids, it's like this very visceral imagery. It's uncomfortable. And Neutral Milk Hotel, most of their lyrics are very uncomfortable. And it's like almost a, for me, I enjoy it, but for others, this is not pleasant to listen to. It makes me
Yeah.
uncomfortable and it's not enjoyable.
So
But they
just for
use,
those that are listening, the album, what was the album so people can go listen to
oh,
it as well in the
In the Aeroplane
airplane
Over the
something.
Sea
Yeah, yeah,
by Neutral Milk Hotel. Beautiful album cover too. It looks very
yeah,
similar to this album cover. Um, but they also just have like this beautiful vibrato, this beautiful, like they bring in trumpets and strings and like drums and all of this. And so I just think that that's probably why I'm so drawn to this album in particular, is because it's very
yeah,
reminiscent of some of my favorite music.
yeah.
Because Bright Eyes is one of my favorites. Neutral Milk Hotel is definitely one of my favorites. Um, and so it was just another band that was like, ah, this is my
Yeah.
type of music right here.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Yay! Yeah.
Yeah, so, again, some of the people that Florence and the Machine, Mumford and Sons, listed them as influences, or listed this album in particular as influences. And then one that popped up that I was like, huh, that I always love the name of the band, is Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people may know their biggest hit is Home. I really like one of their other ones, Man on Fire, is on my like playlist. So, but again, all bands that point back to Funeral as influential, or Arcade Fire is influential. So, anything else before we get to the ratings?
My one other thing that I think you would appreciate, because it reminds me of Pearl Jam, something Pearl Jam does. Um, so the
Which is be
name,
awesome.
yes, but the name Arcade Fire. Did you look how they came up with that name?
No, I did not.
Okay. So everyone, I looked it up, and a bunch of Reddit is like, oh, it's this idea of Arcadia. Arcadia is like this hallowed ground. It's like this euphoria, and it's on fire. And like that's what it means. It's this beautiful meaning. Well, the lead singer apparently talked about it once and was like, no, when I was in elementary school, there was a bully who went around and told everyone that there was an arcade that caught on fire and killed a bunch of kids, and I was scared of it. And I remembered it. But in all like the discourse about it that I was reading, a lot of the comments were saying it seems like he's saying that, but not cluing in the other team members. Like if you ask the other band members what the name Arcade Fire is, like they don't really have a clear answer the way he does. And it's exactly what Eddie Vedder did, where their name was named after the basketball player or whatever. And then all of a sudden in one of the interviews, they were like, "What's your band's name?" He's like, "Pearl Jam." They were like, "What?"
Yeah,
And just all of a sudden their name was Pearl Jam. And he came up with this elaborate, reason for why they were named Pearl Jam. Like, and he just kind of like
Yeah.
made it up as he went. And it
Yeah.
feels very similar to just be like, oh no, there's a bully. He just talked about an arcade that burned down, killed a bunch of kids, scared me. It's like, what? What? But also, a shout out for them is they're still making music. They're
Yeah.
still releasing music. They just released a new album this past year, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
Yeah, May 9th is
personal
when they released their
and
last album.
yeah, so very recently. So,
Yeah.
ratings here, I'll kick us off. My personal rating and objective ratings are both 8.5. So for me, that is actually puts them personally second on my list.
What's first?
Well, I can't really tell you. It's
Oh.
it's one that we've already listened to that we haven't recorded that we will record and
Ooh.
release later.
Fair enough.
So what about you? What
Okay.
are your ratings? High,
My
I would
person
guess.
my personal rating was 10. I
Nice.
loved this album. I loved everything about it. Even the songs that I said I didn't like, I liked them. I had to pick two. I loved this album. I loved this band. This is one that I like after listening to the album a few times this week, I delved a lot deeper into the band as a whole. Um, it's one of the first bands that like I followed myself, like and went through everything. So it's been my favorite, and it genuinely has been like a 10, which is I'm not just saying that lightly. It
Yeah,
was, in my opinion, for me, a perfect album. Now, objectively, a 9, because I understand that like there are always going to be things you can change objectively about an album, even if those are the things that make you love it, in my opinion.
yeah,
So objectively, I don't know if I sound like the teacher in high school that everyone hated. Objectively, I don't know if any album is ever going to get a 10. Um, but personally, I loved everything about this album.
very good.
Yeah.
So, anything else, or you want to tell everybody what to go find on their streaming service next?
I'll say you can expect this on a birthday list coming up. But then after that, for next week, we're going to get to record one that we have previously discussed, just not on Zoom, um, or podcast. And it's going to be Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Yay!
So, for people my age, you may be able to, instead of going to your streaming service, break out your CD, cassette, or vinyl copy, which I think Riley's got a vinyl copy of
I
this
don't
one.
have a Dark Side of the
No,
Moon
you don't
vinyl.
have this one? Okay.
No, I want it,
Um,
but it's like $40 everywhere, and I'm not willing to
oh,
do that.
yeah.
Also on the birthday list.
Yeah. So, but again, yeah, Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. Um, and that's what we'll be listening to next week. So until then, I'm Todd.
And I'm Riley, and this has been this week's episode of Barber Cuts.
Bye bye.
Bye!